So there's about five different things that I've been doing differently since the beginning of summer, just because I've been trying to improve and see how like far I could actually go if I actually tried. So that brings us to today, where I've basically done it all. We're at the end of summer, so want to share my results with you to let you know how all of this has really affected me. Because it's been a fast 3 months already, and I feel like part of that is because of the way that I've been just behaving differently. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. First things first is you know when you have these goals that you want to do, like me, for example, mine was to just read more. They have their you know primary benefit, which is to gain more knowledge from a book or to learn more about certain things. Just it doesn't have to be like self-improvement. It's just like reading in general can help you articulate yourself better. It allows you to expand your vocabulary. uh and for me, it helped me with my confidence because I was able to articulate myself better. So, it's like a double jeopardy, we'll say. I get two wins, all reward, no risk. You know, no risk, all reward. And I think it was one of the single greatest things I've done this whole summer was just starting to read because like I catch myself in dead moments now where I'm like, bro, I gotta be doing something. So I just crack open a book for like 10 minutes and, just get lost in that. And then when I'm done reading, it's like I have a clear conscience. Like I can actually think again. Uh, I can think clear and then I can talk better. Like I was reading before I made this video just so I would like prepare myself basically to have the right words to say. Because I think like when you're looking at words, it just helps you like picture the word better so it comes to your mind faster. That's what I assume. But also the type of books that you're reading can also help you a lot. So one of them that I had is like curing your anxiety because I love to talk to people. I'm just too scared to do it. So I got that book beginning of summer just to see if it would actually like help me or if I could learn something about the way that I'm reacting to when I'm like in these stressful situations. It basically says that if you've had a bad experience or result from a certain thing or something that you've done and you had a bad result from it, that will lead you to be scared of trying to do it again. So, if you did like a magic trick or something and it went horribly wrong, you would never want to do magic again. But that's only because you've had a bad experience with doing magic in front of people. It can be singing, it can be freaking yoga, it can be, you know, uh, what are those pogo sticks? It could be literally anything, but if you have a bad reaction from doing any of it, riding a bike, you'll never want to pick it up again. So it's really just consistency into doing what you want to improve because, the reps for me, bro. They really like the more that you do, the more you're gonna get out of it. You're gonna invest, you're gonna get XP points out of it, you're gonna level up, all that good stuff. But it's really just about putting it's really about the amount that you try, uh, is pretty much what I was trying to say. But nonetheless, put in the work, read, crack open a book, and just let the mind start flowing. That's reading. Now, the second thing I've done this summer was starting to make making YouTube videos, and creating them are pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I only set out 1 or 2 days out of the week, like, to make videos, because anything more than that, I'm working on other stuff, so I feel like more than 2 days is gonna be kind of obscene. At least for right now, I'm just starting off, and I'm really just trying to improve because even though it's only 1 or 2 days, I spend a lot of time like re-talking, doing new clips. The gameplay, I don't really edit that much, but I like doing the thumbnails. It's cool to come up with like certain certain hooks for people like when they first watch the video. It's cool to um create a thumbnail that makes people want to click it. I think it's competitive enough. It's like competitive enough to where you want to try hard, but you don't have to do it every single day, Like reading, I do it every day because I think it allows me to absorb a lot of knowledge, and then, doing this, like talking, I'm just dumping my brain, dude. Like I'm just letting it all flow out of me. I'm just, I'm letting go. And it feels good. You have to like have a brain dump every once in a while, or else you're just gonna be stuck. And I've noticed that after having these brain dumps, dude, like the words just come to me so much easier. Like maybe throughout the video, you'll notice that I can talk longer, like in longer phrases, longer sentences than when the video first started. I try not to edit it that much. I want it to be one continuous run. And I make a couple stops here and there. Like this one will probably have about like 5 or 6 different cuts. But, eventually I have a goal of just being able to do it all in one go. If I have to reset a couple of times, that's cool. But, I go for 3 minutes at a time, and then 5 minutes, and then 7, 11, and then 15, and then 20. So you set these little goals for yourself, which is the third point of the video, of this whole improving your confidence, dude. Because setting a goal is actually like an achievable goal, something really, really doable where it's like, if I did it for the past 10 days, this would have been a crazy result. So, talking to 3 people a day, that's 30 people in 10 days. That's a lot of people, That's 30 new people that you didn't know. Now, that's only a one time conversation. So I'm trying to, right now, I'm really trying to improve that by getting to be able to talk to people continuously, by getting their number, just making friends. So my goal, I made it with my buddy yesterday actually. Also accountability, having like a friend or a grandma, somebody that you can tell about what you want to do, like your goal, and they can check back on you and make sure that you actually did it. I think it's better with the boys, in my opinion, just because they actually understand where you're coming from, because they probably feel the same way. Me and my friend, we went to go eat yesterday, at this barbecue place, and the waitress comes up. We're talking to her. She's pretty cool, and then she walks away. My friend's like, "You got that," and me being me, I'm like, "I know I got that, bro. I'm him. I'm Mank." So I we ate, we got our food, we paid, and I was like, "Bro, if she comes around, like, that's when I'll ask her. That's when I'll ask her for a number." And 10 seconds later, after I said that, dude, not even joking, she came around and she said, "Do y'all need anything else?" You know, delivering me like hook, line, and sinker to where I could be like, "Yeah, I need your number." As corny as it sounds, but like in the moment, it's just, it's excellent. And, I just sat there and I said, "No, I'm good." And then we walked out, and he told me, he was like, "Dude, you choked. You were tripping. You're tripping on a Wednesday, dude, after 12 p.m. That's the rule, and that's how it goes, dude. So if you trip Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before noon, you're safe. Those are your tripping days. But if you trip anything after noon on Wednesday through Sunday, you are big time tripping, dude. And there's nothing you can do to be redeemed, except except one one fine detail in small print that they did not tell you. But I'm gonna tell you today, buddy, because I care about you. I need you to know this. There is redemption, but it's double or nothing. All right. Well, not really nothing. It's double. You have to do double the amount of what you were supposed to do the day before, and then If you don't do it, you get double the punishment, which is double the trippage, which is terrible. You do not want to do that. So, the plan is to get two girls' numbers today instead of just one, because yesterday I was tripping too hard. It's things like that, dude. When you hold yourself accountable, even if it's silly, dude, you still got to make those goals and be accountable. So that's why my goal today is two, and you know I've set goals in the past, I've hit them, and it resulted in me actually getting a number, which was the first time I've ever done that in my life. And I was like, it happened the first time I did it, and I was like, cool, I'm 1 for 1 right now. So I mean, I'm not tripping if anything happens. If they say no, or which they wouldn't be, bro. They would be blessed to have me, which is which comes to problem number 4, or not problem, but point number 4, lesson number 4, to complete this whole thing is you have to be delusional. All right, you're already lying to yourself, saying, "Dude, these chicks don't want me. I'm cooked. I'm too fat. I just ate a whole half-pound burger with maple butter and fries, sweet potato fries. Like, dude, I'm fat. Like, I can't do this right now." That's how I was feeling yesterday when I freaking choked. And today, it's a brand new day. All I had was a mango. And I'm telling myself right now, dude, all you had was a mango. It's already noon. Everybody else has already eaten like 1,000 calories. You're not bloated right now. You've only drank water and like an energy drink. You're good. Like you're shredded. I've also lost 15 pounds in this summer. So that was pretty exciting. I'm no longer fat anymore. I can actually see my abs again. Oh, that's crazy, but getting shredded is definitely worth it if that is one of your main concerns. Just go ahead and do it. It only takes like a month or two at most if you really try. Um, but yeah, make sure that you are looking your best, feeling your best, and that way you can perform at your best. Because the more you do that, dude, the more results you're gonna get. If you spend your time chud maxing and you know drinking soda with sugar, not even sugar free, just straight up syrup. Um, if you're not trying at all, then don't be surprised when nothing really works out the way you want it to. You have to put action. You can't be reactive. You have to be proactive. That's one of the lessons I've learned throughout this whole summer. Um, that wasn't really supposed to be a part of the video, but you got a little extra because I did a little extra today. You know how that works. So I wasn't gonna share that with you, but because I read and it came to my mind, I just allowed it to come off the tongue, roll off the tongue easily like that. So, we've this is our third take. Wow, that's crazy. And we're still like going pretty good. Um yeah, so lesson number 4 was to be delusional. Like I said, they are blessed to have you. You have to lie to yourself. You're already lying to yourself now about saying that you're too fat, too ugly, too retarded. Lie to yourself and say that you're too good. These girls don't deserve you. These guys don't deserve you if you're a chick. Um, you know, I'm not really sure what the whole like spectrum of y'all watching is, but I want to be as, I guess, not discreet. I don't want to discriminate in any sort of fashion because I think everybody struggles in their own type of way, and we should all be mindful of that. Because just because we have our own struggles doesn't mean somebody else doesn't. Um, so always be mindful. Always be delusional. Like I said, lie to yourself. Tell you that you're too good. That you're doing them a service by getting their number. Um, yeah, you know, be the bigger man. But lesson number 5, and this one is so stupid. Like, it's stupid on how effective it actually is. And that's why I saved it for the last. That way, nobody who doesn't deserve to hear this doesn't hear it. But this happens within the moment of you doing it too, which is why it's such a fat cheat code in this whole thing, is body language. And specifically, one movement in particular that like sets you apart from everything else is the way you hold your head. Yeah, that's it, dude. That's it. Just the way you hold where your chin is at, you know, if you hold your head a little bit higher than normal, it you get a little more sense of like control. You lose the urgency and anxiety part when you just practice like raising your chin up. Um, I don't really know why that is, to be honest, but it's crazy how effective it works. I have these eye staring like competitions, which is random people. I don't know if you've ever been there, but like I'll be across the whole gym, and I'm at the squat rack during the dumbbell area, and I'm just looking at them, and they're looking right back at me, and I'm like, well, I cannot let go of my eye contact right now, so you have to. And sometimes I would tap out. I'd be like, man, I cannot do this. I gotta hit my set again, or I would just go on my phone or something. Look away. But since I've started implementing this, dude, I haven't lost yet. Which is it doesn't sound like much, but there's some big dudes here. Like I'm talking massive, bro. Like cream of the crop genetic anomalies, and I'm just staring them down because my chin is held a little bit higher. Apparently, that's what my friend was telling me, is that apparently it like increases your dominance, or it makes you appear more dominant. Which, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I've noticed significant amount of just change from that one simple posture. Dude, I'm telling you, do it. Next time you talk to somebody, just in person, doesn't your mom, your grandma, just raise your chin a little bit and see what it does for you. Because, dude, I'm telling you, it's crazy on what it does. So yeah, read like a mofo. Start to consume more good stuff more frequently, because it's the reps that you put in, dude. I'm telling you. Just the more you do something, even if you've been off for a couple days, just start going at it again. If you haven't gone to the gym because your car broke down, don't let that stop you from getting gains still. Do some sit-ups, do some push-ups, do some body weight squats. Like, you're only not there because you don't want to be there. If you want it, go get it. So with that in mind, I will see you next week or next video, depending if I make it today or to next week. So yeah, with that in mind, y'all have a good rest of y'all's week. Peace.
Why you gotta scream like that? Living like you're so carefree. I don't wanna talk right now. Why you gotta be like that? Maybe you just haven't met me. Let me introduce myself.